Today we are going to use this homemade foam generating thing that I built. We're going to mix this foam with Portland cement, and we are going to pour it into our new Beegin Bee Bunka molds, and we're going to see what that looks like compared to the fully concrete molds or fully concrete hives that we did in the last video. So I'll show you how that works. Before we get too into the video, if you're not familiar with what a foam generator is, this is basically one of many configurations. Essentially what you want to do is mix air and soapy water, push it through a container that is full of something to break up the bubbles. You can see here, this is some test foam I did earlier this morning. In here, there's a bunch of steel wool, and you can see that PVC going into the bucket. There's 5 gallons of soapy water, that soap, 2 cups to 5 gallons of water, and this pump here sucks it up, mixes in my little Y set up here. Air is going to come in over here, and they're going to pump out, and it's going to make foam. If you want to see more on that or get more details on how that goes together, I will try to remember to link to the video where I built this. So I've already cleaned these up from the last casting, the concrete casting. And it doesn't take much. I just took kind of a shop rag and scrubbed them out and dusted them out and ran a brush through there and just knocked off the heavy concrete chips. Now, like last time, we need to oil the forms, and you can use a paintbrush, of course. I'm just going to use this little shop rag and leave it in this container, and this will kind of just be my dedicated I don't know, oiling device, utensil. I don't know if we mentioned in the last video, but this is pneumatic oil, compressor oil. It's the stuff you put in your compressor or your pneumatic tools like your air guns and stuff. It's not the cheapest in the world, but it's what I had on hand, and it seems to work fine. And it's I don't know, I'd rather use it than use motor oil personally. It's not gonna stain or anything, at least I don't think so. You can use like vegetable oil, the instructions say, but I don't know if we have any vegetable oil. I think vegetable oil is for people who like bake things, which we do not. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna slicker them up. I've already got the wire pre-cut and pre-bent and pre-made, so I'm basically just gonna get these prepped real quick. Then we're going to jump over to getting the Portland mixed with water. So I'll be back when I'm ready for that. Alright, we are all slimed up and got our little yellow cavity pieces screwed in, as well as our metal reinforcement. Now you may notice this isn't fully covered like we did in the full concrete video. This one is the same. The lid's the same, and the second hide body compartment, I didn't put any reinforcement in. That's for 2 reasons. One, I want to be able to compare and contrast the additive strength of the steel reinforcement, and 2, I'm out of mesh. That's the primary reason. But it is good to know. This here is going to be the weakest possible thing we make with these forms, and so to know, you know, on one end of the spectrum, this is what we can expect from a compressive strength form, or considering the compressive strength of this Aircrete and also the lack of reinforcement, versus what we did in the last video, solid concrete 4,000 PSI stuff with heavy reinforcement. So we'll know what's the weakest, what's the strongest, and we can kind of dial it in between if we need to. So we'll probably do this in the future. Like I said, I just ran out. I don't know if this is even going to work, so I'm not going to really worry about getting all the other variables perfect just yet. All right, now we'll mix up the cement. So full disclosure, this is the first time I've ever made Aircrete. This is the first time I've ever used this other than to make that batch of test foam this morning. So I don't know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of resources out there that talk about the different blends, the different ratios of cement to water to solution. So I'm just gonna wing it. And I did some research, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there that talk about what works for them. I think his name's Aircrete Harry, did a really neat test where he showed the different compression factors, the compression rating that certain mixes have. And so it seems like what a lot of people do is they base it on there's two fixed variables, cement and water. And then the only other variable that changes is the size of the container that you fill up with foam. So I'm gonna do a 40 gallon mix, which is just gonna be a 92-pound bag or 93-pound bag, 6 gallons of water, and the rest that it takes to get 40 gallons is foam. That's just the extra. So if you did a 10-pound or a 10-gallon, sorry I keep saying pound, if you did a 10-gallon mix, it would be mostly cement and water and just a little foam. If you did a 100-gallon mix, it would be a very small amount of cement and water and a lot of foam. And so the smaller the gallon batch, the more compressive strength you're gonna have because it's more cement than foam. So I'm doing a 40-gallon batch, and I'm doing it in this 32-gallon container. I'm gonna split it in half. That way it's easier to mix and it's not so heavy to pick up and move around. So I've marked on my bucket here 20 gallons. So I'm gonna put half that bag in here. I've already got 3 gallons of water to prime the tank so I don't get stuff stuck on the bottom. I'm gonna mix it into a slurry, and then I'm going to add foam until I get to this point, and then we'll mix that in. I hope we get to that point. So I'm gonna pour it in. All right. Only putting half of this bag in there. Should be a piece of cake. It's only 100 pounds. Sure it pours real easy. It's good flavor. Okay. Let's see how much I screw this up. Nice and easy. That's gotta be half, right? Okay. Hopefully my drill will work long enough to mix this up. Lower this down and show you how. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's mega runny. That can't be right. I wonder how much that's actually gonna take. I feel like I should put more cement in there, because I don't think it's gonna take this whole bag. If you make it too wet, it will definitely be weaker. There. Now that's half. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to kind of show you exactly what's happening here. I have not tuned the setup yet, and that basically means kind of balance the proper air pressure to water pressure to get the optimum foam. We are doing that live. F it, we'll do it live. Because of that, Well, and just FYI, my compressor is probably going to go off in this, so I may mute the audio for a bit, but that is for your pleasure, not for mine. Get on ya! Okay, so we're looking good. Are we recording? Yeah. Now I'm going to go to this line, so it's going to be a lot of foam. I do have this hooked up to a GFCI receptacle outside, and we will be kind of elevating this connection. That way, if any water hits or gets on the ground, it will be elevated. So let's turn the air on first. Hey, you sit tight, would you? I need a handle. Stay. 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 Let's say that's it. Let go. Okay, that wasn't bad. The that kind of back and forth, the pressure from the pump and the air were kind of fighting each other, so that's not good, but that worked fine. Now let's mix it up. This is gonna be cool. I'm assuming this is just gonna mix in like a cake, but I might be wrong. Yeah, it looks like I'm wrong. There we go. Hope you can see that. Come on, baby. Get rolled in there. Ow. I'm gonna bust through this trash can. So my estimates are that this will have about a 50 psi compression strength, which isn't good, you know, but it doesn't really need to be strong. Well, it doesn't need to be 4,000 psi. Ah, okay. This will be fireproof, rot-proof, bug-resistant, and it will have the best R value of dang near anything that I've seen made into a Beehive so far. Some of those foam and plastic ones may be close, but this may actually be better. Let's tip it on its side. Make sure we got it off the bottom. I don't want to be too rough with it because I'm going to pop these bubbles. That's not what we want. Okay, I've already popped a ton of bubbles. Maybe I mixed it up too hard. I don't know. Better pour it in. Can't see what I'm doing. That's not good. Okay, that's working. It sounds like bubbles are popping. That's not good. Not encouraging. There's a train coming, so audio's about to cut out, just so you know. These bubbles are popping like crazy. I feel like that's not how it's supposed to be. A little freehand. The other reason I'm having trouble screeding this is because this side of the bottom board has the thumb screw part on top, because that makes the entrance, and so I can't get the board straight across there to get that nice and smooth. So just work with what we got. This is a test. So I think I know what my problem was, with that last batch, and I think I made a few mistakes. One, I should have gradually incorporated the foam and mixed it while I incorporated it, instead of having all that heavy cement on the bottom and all the foam on top and having to agitate all that up and down. And then I over whipped it. I should have gone slower, which I couldn't really do because I needed to pull that material off the bottom. So I'm going to enlist a small pair of hands to try to run the drill for me as I slowly put the foam in, and we will see if that gives us better results on the second batch. Do you want to shoot the foam, or do you want to spin that drill?
What do you mean shoot?
Like, okay. Get off that. Come with us.
Shoot.
We'll want to do it on a slow speed, though. Good. And I'll trade you once I get the foam going.
I said, what do I do?
You just sit back and relax. And you'll know what to do. You'll have to mix this foam into it.
What if the foam gets on me? Oh yeah. That actually looks, I know it won't, but that looks like it tastes really good.
It looks like what?
It looks like it tastes really good, but I bet you it doesn't.
Stop it. Come on!
Oh,
Here. Huh?
Is this how they make toothpaste?
Well, I don't know how they make toothpaste.
Is this how they make toothpaste?
I thought they made toothpaste by grinding up people's teeth. That would make it okay. Oh, you barely got it on me. Ow!
Did you get more?
Look at me, I'm a mess. I look like I was born in this stuff.
You do.
Let's see, how much water did we go through? About half the bucket, so
What?
2.5 gallons for.
What?
So that was a little bit easier that time, mixing as we go.
That was easy.
Well, I had a hard time doing it by myself. You were able to help me.
Did you have to put the foam thing in one hand and then that in the other?
No, I foamed it all and then I mixed it, but it was really hard to mix after I put it on. That's why it's easier to mix as you go.
It's like somebody eating chunk from chunk though.
Okay,
That's
well,
probably what chunk is like.
what Trump tastes like?
No, chunk.
Oh. I think you said that's what Trump tastes like.
I don't think anybody
by a vampire?
No, like by a cricket. Or
Oh.
not a cricket, like a tick or something.
Maybe a cricket?
Can crickets bite?
Oh yeah. I've been attacked by plenty of crickets. It's okay.
The good thing we have that tarp there.
Yeah, what?
But some of it is like leaking.
Same.
So you might have to put that.
I mean,
How fast does it harden?
honestly, I'm not sure. It'll probably take a couple hours before it starts to harden, but then it'll take 2 days before it's hard enough to take out of this plastic. We made foam. We mixed it with water and cement, and we poured it into the mold. That's about all I had the confidence to say right now. It was a little more tricky than I expected. The fact that it's like you pour it and it changes shape, and it's a little bit unexpected, makes it, you know, kind of hard to gauge how well this is going to turn out. Right now everything looks okay. The bottom looks like hell because I can't screed it properly, so I'm going to let it set a little bit and I'm going to try to smooth it out like a little float. The other pieces, as long as they don't shrink too much, like the bubbles don't pop and then it decompress or compress, I guess, then I think those might be okay. I don't know. This morning I thought this was going to be a piece of cake, and now I'm not even sure if it's going to work. But we'll see. I made a huge mess. This is the messiest thing I've ever done. Yeah. Good Lord, it's everywhere. So, you know, a couple days we'll take them out. We'll see how it works. I'm going to clean up.